What's up, players? Welcome to the Chiptooth Podcast, Chiptooth Gaming's weekly conversational nerdy news show discussing all the hot topics of the week in Nerd Sphere. I'm your host, Mike Doherty, and alongside me today is old trusty himself, KB. Taylor Swift dropping the hotness.
Look what you made me do. Just what you made me do. Look at what you made me do. Just what you made me do. I don't
For those of you who don't know, we record Thursday nights, and we recorded right when she dropped her album, and we listened to it together.
Yeah, I might have crapped my pants right before we started and made him pause and wait so I could listen to that hotness.
I liked it. Kyle, you didn't
like the song. I liked it just fine. There's just one section where I'm like, cringe. But it was good. Check it out. Go download it on iTunes.
She said old Taylor's dead, which I don't like. I don't like one bit. Because old Taylor's the best Taylor.
Right. Her first album is arguably her best album.
It is her. No, not arguably. Hands down, bar none, her best album.
I don't know, man. Speak Now was good, and Fearless was pretty good.
Hey, I'm not saying the others are bad. I'm just saying.
I'm not either. But if I'm picking between like one of two albums, I'm really having a tough time between number one, the self-titled album, and Fearless. Like those two albums. Yeah,
that's Fearless is good. What's You Belong? When was that on? You Belong With Me.
That's her first one. First one.
No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh wait, no. That was. Let me see.
I know her first one like the back of my hand.
Okay, it was Fearless.
Okay, yeah, then you were correct.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those two, it's a toss-up. All the other ones are good, but those two are her best.
But her first one is bar none the best one. I mean, just look at the bangers, just the sheer bangers on that first one.
One of my sorry, totally talking over you.
It's all good. Our song, Picture to Burn, Tim McGraw. Absolutely.
Teardrops on my guitar.
You're always about the teardrops on my guitar.
I had a girl in high school tell me that song was about me, and I was like, nah, it's not.
Grow up.
Sorry. I have a girlfriend. No. What was I going to say? I don't know what I was going to say.
It's coworkers.
One of my coworkers had never heard her first album. I was like... And then he like tried to make fun of me for liking Taylor Swift. And I was like, bro, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. You can't make fun of me for this.
You're on the wrong side of history on this, buddy.
Well, I was explaining it to him. I was like, you got to understand, fall 2006 was the fall of my senior year. That's when her album dropped, her first one. And all of us seniors in high school, same age as Taylor, we all thought, I mean, we're still the same age because, whatever. But we all thought like, all right, we got a chance because we're dumb high schoolers. We thought we had a chance to like meet her and like date her, but that didn't happen. But every dude in my high school had that CD in their car listening to it on repeat. I don't care what any of them say.
Heck yeah, man. That was my first song ever memorized was our song. And Connor's mom, the best friend in the business, Connor's mom, always been for her.
The best mom in the business, Shanna
She's
Green.
like, oh, sing that one song. And then she'd put it on, and I'd belt it out, little fat, chubby elementary school Mikey.
That's awesome. Oh, man. That's great stuff. No, like when 22 came out, I was 22. That was my jam. Now I'm 28.
22.
Dude, that song came out 6 years ago.
Yeah, man, time goes by fast, man. Can you believe it's almost the end of August?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at my kid and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're almost 6 months old.
Yeah, that's crazy. He looks like a baby now.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a newborn anymore. It's sad.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. Newborns are like kind of gross.
You just had a newborn nephew. You probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, he looks kind of gross.
You're terrible.
So much crap for that.
Oh boy, you're a terrible person.
I know. They know. They're aware. My family is aware. KB, get off your phone.
Sorry, it's David.
Dave.
Unbelievable.
Kyle,
Big. Yeah.
What have you been doing? What are you up to? What are you playing?
Playing. I've been playing Rainbow a little bit this week. I haven't been playing video games too much. kind of a busy week at work, so I'm getting home a little bit later. But been playing some Rainbow, still toying around with some Fallout mods, trying some different things that came out. So that's good. Madden's coming out tonight. Got to get ready to serve up them spankings.
I'm not getting out. I'm just giving you the warning now. I'm not gonna be able to buy it for another week.
You're giving me a week advantage, man.
That's fine. Kyle. Like I said, I'm not very good at video games, but the video games I am good at, I'm like unnecessarily good at. Madden's one of them.
No. Sorry, bro.
Okay.
You're going down.
Okay, Kyle. We'll see. And I'm sure our win-loss ratio will determine that too.
Well, when I told my wife that you thought you could take me, she looked over her computer because we sit across from each other at work. She looked over her computer and was like, no.
Both of you don't know. First of all, I like you calling it on Twitter. You've never seen me play Madden once in my life, ever.
I don't need to see you play.
Say it.
I don't need to see you play to know I could spank you.
Okay, but first of all, it wasn't about you beating me. It was just that I'm terrible at Madden.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to be ready for this. It's really going to shake you. It really bugs you. It's going to bug you. Because like I said, when I'm good at something, I'm like, why am I this good at something?
Just like you were good at Mario Kart, and I spanked you at that too.
Okay, Mario Kart Wii, sir, you've never beat me at.
It's the same controls as Mario Kart Wii U, sir.
They're very different games. You can't see. And this is what I'm saying. Nintendo fanboy, you don't even know the differences.
If I'm a fanboy, wouldn't I?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Know the difference? Anyway, we'll find out next week when we do a Let's Play and I torch you.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm excited for this.
Here we go. Modest prediction. Score is going to be 50-0.
Are you kidding me?
Modest prediction.
Oh, you're so annoying. I can't wait to shove it in your face. Some housekeeping right now, actually. While we're on this, you probably noticed our channel is a little bare other than the podcast. We are working on season 2 of our Let's Play series. I'm buying Madden, and we are going to be doing weekly Sunday night game like predictor Let's Plays between me and Mike, and then you and me are going to be doing some Madden Let's Plays as well.
Yeah, we are.
And then we're going to get some Rainbow Let's Plays up as well with the best friend in business, Connor Green, and you, KB.
Yeah, I'm down.
So some things to look forward to on the channel in the future. Still trying to figure out what we're going to do. Life's really extremely busy right now, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of things I want to do and need to do.
That's part of growing up, man. Part of growing up. Life gets busy.
Equipment upgrades in the future, though. So looking forward to that. KB.
Yes, sir.
I've been playing Rainbow as well. I had probably the best game of my life the other night with you and Connor.
Yeah, you went 4-1-1.
But it's not even the kill.
No, it was the score. It was the score that you had.
It's like 4,000, almost 5,000.
It was ridiculous. You were totally friggin' scanning.
I got 300
like
points up scanning.
I can't believe that guy. That guy probably, you were scanning him for 3 straight minutes. Couldn't find your drone. I couldn't believe that.
Well, not even only that I could find it. By the time like I got there, like you guys were already shooting down at him, so he couldn't like have time to look around because then you guys could have just attacked him. So that's why.
Right.
Gotta think these things. I'm really falling down the Rainbow rabbit hole, and I really like that game. And I don't know if Destiny's gonna have the same hook that Rainbow has.
We'll see. I think you'll like the mind-numbing monotony of it to some extent because you like games where you can tune out a little bit and just listen to a podcast and veg. And there's parts of Destiny where you can just like totally do that.
I'm excited for that then. I am excited about that.
So
if that is true.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about a little later. About my apparently ungodly habits, gaming habits. But I don't know. I'm a lot of games. I post on Twitter. I don't have enough money for all these games right now. And they're all amazing games. I mean, Cuphead's coming out in September.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Those games are a little more doable, but I mean, we have Uncharted hitting, Madden hitting, Cuphead hitting, Knack 2 hitting.
Did you just list Knack too?
Yes. I'm into platformers, man. I'm the platformer guy.
Oh man.
I need it. Kyle Bunyea, let's get into the Doherty report for the week.
I'm down. Do.
Doherty report.
Mike Doherty's news report.
Ooh, I like that.
Mike is fat. No, you remember that was the old Nickelodeon thing. Nickelodeon. Nick is kids.
Got the look. Whoa, what'd you just say?
Nick is kids.
Oh.
That was their tagline at the end of that song. I didn't say anything inappropriate. Calm down.
I know you didn't. I just like messing with you. Also, shout out to Paul the monkey with 3 eyes.
Who?
Paul the monkey. You don't remember this?
Oh, at the end of Jimmy Neutron.
Hi,
I'm Paul.
Yeah. Man, and then you posted something today too. Rocket League is how old?
No, so 2 days ago I found out Rocket Power is 18 years old.
Oh yeah, Rocket Power, not Rocket League.
No, Rocket League is not 18 years old. That'll make me feel really old. By the time Rocket League's 18 years old, I'll be like 42. So I hope Rocket League never turns 18. No, Rocket Power turned 18 2 days ago. So
wild.
Yeah. Uncle Tito with those ancient Hawaiian proverbs. Raymundo smoking a lot of weed.
The gay uncles.
Running
allegedly.
No. Oh yeah. Running Shore Shack. That was the name of the restaurant, the Shore Shack.
So good. God, Nick, did we have this conversation on the podcast or was it somewhere else?
No, it was on the podcast. We were talking about the 90s cartoons. Rocket Power was 2000s.
Okay, but still, Nickelodeon has the best. We've already went over this, but or Cartoon Network, then Nickelodeon, then Disney.
Well, when we talked about it,
overall,
my position was the 90s cartoons for Disney were better than the other two, but the 2000s is really a toss-up for me between Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network.
Let's change the conversation. All time.
All time?
Yeah. All collectively.
Nickelodeon. Cartoon Network had a great stretch.
Oh yeah, no, it's over now.
All time Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I think it would go Nickelodeon, Disney, Cartoon Network. But 90s, I think Cartoon Network definitely had it.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. All right, Doherty report. Getting into the news that you can use. Kyle Bunyea. There are new details on PUBG Player Unknown Battlegrounds. From Gamescom. Gamescom came and went like a fart in the wind this week.
As it does every year.
No, it doesn't. It really used to not be like this.
Ugh.
I used to be so excited. Especially when Sony did their thing. Man, it's slipping away. Turn off your phone.
Sorry.
Or at least get off the table, you animal. But player unknown, player battlegrounds unknown.
Player unknown
PUBG
battlegrounds. There you go, PUBG.
Mr. PUBG himself, Brandon Greene, revealed a new look at Battlegrounds' upcoming desert map. The untitled map was first shown earlier this year, at which time development Blue Hole said it's based in Peru and has sandstorms, among other new features. As you can see in the new image, the desert map looks huge, sprawling arena with many buildings. In addition to the desert map, Blue Hole is making a snowy arena set in the Adriatic region. I don't know what that means. Where is the Adriatic region, KB? Give us a little geography lesson.
Don't ask me geography questions. I can barely make it to Disneyland without Google Maps.
I've never seen that word in my life.
Adriatic.
No release date has been announced for the desert or snow maps. In other Battlegrounds news, Microsoft announced this week that it's publishing the game on the Xbox One later this year. It's a console launch exclusive for the Xbox One, and it sounds like Battlegrounds could come to the PS4 at a later date. And it looks like it's coming out at the end of this year for Xbox One. Kyle, what do you have to think? So right now there's only one map. It looks fun. I'm excited to see the game take elements like environmental elements and throw it at you, like the sandstorms, and then it's gonna cool to see it, like how they use the terrain against you and how you're supposed to survive the terrain.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been watching multiple streamers play this like crazy. I'm surprised more aren't. I know a lot are, but there's been some where I'm checking it out. I'm like, hey, why aren't you playing PUBG? You'd get a lot more viewers. And they're like, I don't know, whatever. But I've been watching a lot of Alfredo Diaz, the new achievement hunter.
Shout out.
Getting chicken dinners right and left. That's what it's called when you get a win. I don't know if you know that, Mike Doe. Winner.
I've seen the Game Attack guys tweet it out a few times.
Yeah, Fredo's got 100 solo chicken dinners. So yeah, he's pretty good.
That's really what they call it in the game.
Yeah.
So stupid.
No, that's awesome. Just so we know, the Adriatic Sea is the body of water between Italy and Albania and
there's snow there.
Croatia. Well, there's mountains in that area.
I'm an ignorant American, everybody. Please
Slovenia, Austria, that kind of area. Oh jeez, my demon dog, dude. He gets this demon spawn in him once a week, and he goes bat crap crazy, and he's doing it right now. Anyway, no, PUBG, I'm excited. I'm dying. I told you the other day, I think it was last night, I'm checking the forums every day for a release date. I know we're not getting it till the end of the year for Xbox because I'm too poor to buy a PC. No game has ever made me want to buy a PC more than PUBG. So I'm dying.
Agreed. I've never wanted to do PC gaming more in my life than right now for PUBG. So basically when this game comes out at the end of this year, everything goes out the window. I'm going to be on winter break, and I'm just going to be all in on this game. I really hope it comes out November-ish.
Yeah. Well, that'll be nice because that'll give us a break from Destiny and Rainbow.
I think, I'm going to be real with you, KB. I think Destiny's dead after this game comes out.
No, you got to rotate, man. You got to rotate, or else shooters get repetitive and monotonous. You got to get different feels.
That's not true.
It is true, because then you got Call of Duty World War II coming out. I was watching some gameplay of that today, and I'm like, oh man, I wasn't going to get it. But now I'm like, okay, it's another shooter I might be picking up this year.
So many games this year, man. I don't know how we buy them all.
Yeah, I know. Going to debt. No, you need to rotate between shooters, because if you're playing too much of the same shooter in a row, you get burned out really bad.
But I don't, though. I can play Rainbow Six all day. If I really love something, I'll be able to play it to death. I'm the same kid who played a Crash 2 over, this isn't even exaggerating, over 60 times.
That's because you were too poor to buy a new game.
True, but I never got old.
That's true. No, I was thinking about the life of a child and being a video game player with parents that don't value it. My little brother has a Switch, and the only game he has is Mario Kart. And I was having Vietnam flashbacks to my Nintendo 64 days where all I had was Mario Kart. And
that's all he's going to have for the next year.
Right, until Christmas when Mario Odyssey comes out, and then he'll have that. No, so you saying you played Crash Bandicoot that much, I'm like, well, whatever, because you were like me, and your parents couldn't afford to buy you any new games.
And that wasn't even a new game. That was that. When I started playing Crash, it was old at that point.
That's true. It's true.
It's man, it's so weird because I don't think kids, except for a few exceptions here and there, like your brother, kids today aren't gonna have that thing for that long.
Right. Well, I think
attention spans are all over the place.
Yeah, and I think that's partially due to the fact that there are a lot more gaming parents out there that are supportive of the habit, or even parents that just don't pay attention to what their kids do. So they're buying them Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty and whatever, Saints Row. So these parents are just as long as you're not talking to me, we're good. Here's a game.
Okay, that's over. Not all, but yeah.
No, okay. So this is total sidetrack, but I was looking at a study done by Boston University a few years back. On average, with all these parents that they did the study with, the dads were saying that they thought they spent 45 to 50 minutes of quality time with their kids per day. What it really came down to when they added microphones and cameras, 38 seconds of valuable time with these dads that they studied. It's like, that's crazy.
Oh man, we're so screwed.
That's so crazy. And it's just getting worse as time goes on because we're having more and more things put into our lives meant to distract us.
To be real, you can have valuable time with your kid playing video games.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Maybe I have to look at the games I'm playing. But I can't wait to sit down and play Mario Kart or Splatoon or teach my kid how to play Zelda. But I was playing Assassin's Creed the other day just because I was like, oh, this is in my backlog. I'll play it a little bit. And Trevor's looking at the TV. I'm like, I know you don't understand what you're looking at, but I'm pretty sure you just saw me cut some dude in half.
It's fine.
Pay no attention to it, 5-month-old.
Yeah. Look the other way. Suck your thumb.
It's jelly that came out of his neck, not blood.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's telling, but I don't even know how we got on this.
No, that's the beauty of a conversational podcast. Down the rabbit hole.
I even lost the thread. What were we talking about?
We were talking about PUBG.
No, but like,
and then
I wanted to add something to this.
This is some dead air time, man.
I know. Okay, let's move on. So, long and short of it, we're excited. This is actually an Xbox exclusive for right now, and I think this is the smartest thing Microsoft has ever done. And I think this is going to be the turning of the ship for them, especially since the Xbox One X is coming out. This is going to be a hot commodity coming this holiday. It's hitting right in the holiday season for Xbox to have an exclusive game. Where Sony won't really have a big exclusive game. Like, I think this is where they're gonna start turning around the ship, just like Sony did in last gen.
Agreed. At least for a season before PlayStation gets it. But hopefully, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping those two start to play nice so we can play PUBG cross-platform.
Speaking of playing nice, will Sony ever play nice, KB?
Yeah, there's that softball for you.
Will there ever be a cross-play support between Xbox One and PlayStation 4? If it never happens, it won't be for lack of trying. It seems Microsoft marketing manager Aaron Greenberg recently told Games Reactor that Microsoft is absolutely in talks with Sony about potential cross-play support, but Sony apparently won't allow it. We're talking to Sony about cross play. We do partner with them on Minecraft, and of course, we would like to enable them to be part of that one community to unite gamers. So we're talking to them, and we're hopeful that they'll be supportive of it. This is just the latest of the long history of comments from Microsoft about the desire to connect Xbox Live and PlayStation Network back at E3. Kyle, Bunyea, is this the biggest publicity stunt Microsoft just keeps milking right now?
I think so, but I hope that Sony caves. I've seen a lot of people try to compare it to the WWE in the 90s, and I know you're going to be like, what are you talking about? In the 90s, it was WWF at the time and WCW, and they're saying, well, why would WWF, and they're saying that's PlayStation, ever collaborate with WCW, which is Microsoft? They would never even pay attention to their rival. Why would they do that? It's like, because it could be awesome for the industry. Like, Sony's won. Sony is the better gaming console, and I think that has been proven. And even last gen, PlayStation was the better gaming console. PS3 was the better gaming console. I think they have to. I think eventually you got to do it.
I hope so. I hope it gets to the point where it's like I hope it gets so connected where it's like I could be in a party with you and Connor on Xbox when I'm on PlayStation. Like, that would be rad. But I see why Sony's not doing it. I completely understand why Sony's not taking the bait, because Microsoft wouldn't either if they were in the lead.
Right. Absolutely.
Because what was the number one thing you heard last generation on the 360? On why people got an Xbox 360? Like, why did Connor Green go with an Xbox One
It's Xbox Live, man.
No, well, not just that. Because why? His friends played on it, other than me.
Yeah.
Xbox 360. I remember growing up, that was the reason people got people looked at me like a psychopath when I was like, oh yeah, I got the PS3, and like I'm a hardcore Sony fanboy. People were like, I don't understand that. Like all your friends are on Xbox 360. Like was the selling point. And I almost caved a few times too. That is the number one reason, and I think that's what Sony has going for them right now. Is all my friends, are on PlayStation. So, Mom, I want an Xbox or a PlayStation for Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in a dream world, in an idealistic society, the two would at least open up the chat streams. They would cross the chat streams.
Don't cross the streams, KB. It's the number one rule.
Like I said, do I think it's going to happen? No. I think you'd be more likely to see a partnership with Sony and Nintendo, or Microsoft and Nintendo, before you saw a partnership with Sony and Microsoft, just because, like we talked about in weeks past, that Nintendo is the third or the second console in people's home, no matter what. Like, people are going to get an Xbox or a PlayStation, but they're definitely going to get a Nintendo console too as their second, at least the Switch. So I think you're going to see a partnership and crossplay with them and Microsoft, or them and Sony, before you see Microsoft and Sony work together, just because these two have been trading jabs almost every year at these gaming conventions. And it's like, you kind of don't want, well, no, you kind of don't want to play nice with your competitor. Like, of course the losing side is going to say, yes, we want you to do cross platform because it makes us look really good that we were the one that was able to bridge this gap. And it makes you guys look really bad because you were holding out. But why would the winning side do it?
Well,
why would the winning side do it?
And you said maybe they'd work together. They already are working with Nintendo with the uniting them together. And one thing that's not, I think we talked about this before, is one thing that's not really talked about is for you to play on Nintendo Switch, to play with Xbox people, you have to sign into an Xbox Live account. So like, how would that work with PlayStation? Like, they're of course they're not going to want you to sign in to their competitors online to play with their, like, it just doesn't make sense. It would be cool to have that, where it's like right now with Destiny. I really want Destiny on the PS4, and I kind of am reluctantly getting it on Xbox One. It'd be really cool to get it on PS4, and you and Connor have it on Xbox One, be in a party, me be on my PS4, and be in the same game together.
Yeah, that would, like I said, in an ideal world, it would be awesome. But I just don't see it. Like, if we're going back to that wrestling analogy that I tried to use awkwardly, PlayStation is very much WWF right now. Xbox is very much WCW. The fans, us as fans, obviously would clamor for a crossing of the two in a meeting of the minds, as it were. But just like in the 90s, all we got was WWF and ECW. I think all we're going to get is PlayStation and Nintendo, or Microsoft and Nintendo. We're not going to see the two big consoles partner up for a while, even though I'd like to. Yeah.
In an ideal world, you're right. It would be awesome. And if it ever happened, like, exclusives would be more important than ever.
Right. And that's why when I was using that analogy initially, I didn't understand, and I still don't understand why Sony wouldn't do it. Because you're still going to walk away.
You're still number one.
Right. You're still going to walk away the winner. So if there is cross-platform play, and the majority of Xbox's games are AAA titles that are third-party titles that are available on both, people are still going to go to your system above Microsoft because you have more first-party titles, period. So I don't see why they wouldn't, really, because they're going to be the ones to walk away victorious on this no matter what, because they continually pump out first-party titles. Microsoft, we talked about it last week, they had Crackdown, now they have Cuphead and Super Lucky's Tale.
And now Battlegrounds.
Right. So if PlayStation was to agree to this right now and set up a contract or set up some kind of agreement where this is a 10-year deal, or a 20-year deal, And they could just say, all right. And then they go into next generation. They say, look at all of our exclusives. And guess what? You get cross-platform play with Xbox. People are going to look at Xbox and go, what do you got? And be like, we have cross-platform play with PlayStation. And be like, okay, but what about exclusives?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
people are still going to go PlayStation.
Games.
Right. So I think Sony's is being stubborn, and they're not looking at big picture, because if they can lock in an agreement like that, long term, they're going to be the ones coming out on top 100%.
If I would see that, if I were like, let's say I am Shuhei Yoshida right now, and I control all the cards, because Shuhei Yoshida obviously controls all the cards. I would be looking at that. I would see that. I'd see, okay, look, we have all the games. We have all the good exclusives. Like, they don't really have anything. And the thing that's going to be driving people to our console is our games, and they'd be able to play with people on Xbox, which is whatever. It's fine. But like, for people like me, I'm buying a game on Xbox because you guys have it on Xbox when I could be buying that game on PS4.
Right. Right.
So
that's what my argument is. Like, for people that can't afford both, which is really the vast majority of the country, if you were to sit down and lock a deal in and say, yeah, we have cross-platform for the next 20 years, people like me that have a family or that don't want to drop $1,000 on two different consoles, 15 when you look at all the accessories and some games, people are going to look at one. And what's the one they can get the most out of? And if there's cross-platform play, they're going to go PlayStation. And I think there is still such a large segment of Xbox fans that still hold on to it because that's where the majority of their friends play.
Yeah. Well, and like I was like, yeah, exactly. And like I was saying, if I were Shuhei right now, and then on top of that, I would be trying to steal PUBG as an exclusive as part of the deal. Because right now, think about this. I would be like, okay, like, we're willing to open up like an all-inclusive one play zone for third-party games. But you're exclusive with PUBG. Like, we want PUBG faster. And then think of like a holiday launch of PUBG. Again, this is more unrealistic, but a PUBG release on console with Xbox and PS4 that takes the thunder away from Xbox, and that makes PUBG even better because you have more people on the same playing field, playing with PC, playing with Xbox, playing with PlayStation.
Yep.
That is like the epitome of what that game is.
Right. I agree. I think Sony is missing out on an opportunity by doing it. I think to sit there and say we're the best, so we're just going to stay on top and not talk to anybody or play with anybody is kind of short-sighted, because you could very easily be on the bottom of that mountain in 3 years.
Yeah, and you're going to want it.
They were on the bottom of that mountain 5 years ago.
Yeah,
like let's be
real. I was
real.
there. Never forget.
When all the negativity was swirling around them, like, you would have killed for Microsoft to do what they're asking you to do. And maybe it's a stubbornness on their part going, well, nobody offered us any help. And I get that, but.
And I don't even think it's really help.
No, like I said, it's not help, but Microsoft is asking for it. And if Sony was smart, they'd go, all right, here you go. Come on over. And I think they would win long-term with it.
Well, speaking of short-sightedness, KB, Siege Blood Orchard DLC delayed. It was supposed to come out August 29th and is now coming out September 4th, right?
No. September 5th.
5th.
September 5th is the date.
So it's not too much of a delay. It's a bummer. We are big Rainbow fans, like we've talked about over and over again on this podcast. It's a bummer. I don't know if I really need to get into the story. I didn't realize it was only a week, but that's why I did it. Never mind. I understand. I'm gonna read the story. We continue to learn about the upcoming Operation Blood Orchard update for Rainbow Six Siege, but it turns out that it won't be available to everyone as soon as expected. The previously announced August 29th release date has now been revealed as the start date for its launch on PC's technical test server. The news was shared in a press release today announcing a free weekend event that's coming up. PC players will be able to check out the new Blood Orchard DLC content on the TTS starting on August 29th. Ubisoft says it's targeting September 5th as a full release for all platforms, suggesting the date is not yet set in stone. Although it's become tremendously popular, Rainbow Six Siege has dealt with some significant technical issues in its past. The prompted the cancellation of an expansion in favor of Operation Health, which saw Ubisoft focus on addressing various issues with that deemed a success. Ubisoft likely didn't want the first post-health expansion to suffer the problems that it did at launch. Though it is still disappointing to learn that we'll have to wait longer than we thought for Blood Orchard. Of course, we talked about this last week. It includes 3 new players, and a new map. KB.
Yes, sir.
Are we getting this September 5th?
Yeah, we're getting it September 5th. I think it was a miscommunication from the beginning that people just ran with. Again, all this information leaked early, and Ubisoft was like, okay, because typically they announce these things at their tournaments, at their big league finals for seasons, and it leaked a little bit early, and I think the information was just miscommunicated. So I got to correct you, because last week I said it wrong like 4 times, and I only said it right once. It's Blood Orchid, like the flower. I only said it right at the end, and I rewatched our podcast last week, and it was driving me nuts because I was like, why did I keep saying orchard? Because I knew it was orchid.
Man, I can't read. I'm dyslexic AF. No, wow.
I'm right there with you because I did the same thing. No, like I said, I think it was just a simple miscommunication. Seems to be happening a lot in the entertainment industry right now with multiple forms of entertainment. So you got WB doing all kinds of weird stuff with their movies, and here you got Ubisoft not really clear on their release date for the new season of Rainbow. It kind of bummed me out because I was looking forward to a full week and a half of just messing around with the operators before Destiny 2 came out. Destiny 2 is going to come out, and Rainbow Six is going to sit for a while.
I should never bought that damn DLC.
I'm still going to come back to it, like 100% going to come back to it and play it like crazy. But Destiny 2 is going to be my primary game for probably a month, from September probably through midway October. And maybe I'll jump back into Rainbow at that point.
Interesting. I'm going to be interested to see if I like Destiny. I'm going to be interested to see if I am going to be crying at you guys to go back to Rainbow Six. These next couple months are going to be very interesting to see what I play on, because right now I'm opting for Madden over Uncharted Lost Legacy. I'm going to be having to make a lot of sacrifices coming up on like what to get and what not to get.
Yeah. You're trying new things. I'm proud of you.
By the way, I've been playing the new Housemarque game, Matterfall.
Okay, yeah.
Kimmy, do you like side scroller like Metroid games?
I'm not.
It reminds me of a Metroid game.
I'm not a huge fan, but I could give it a try if it was ever, the PlayStation, the free game.
You should look if it's ever on a discount. I'm gonna let you know, because I think I talked about this last week too. It reminds me of an old game in a new generation. Like if old games were still being made, like if we never advanced to 3D, this is how games would be.
Yeah, well, that was what their last big game was, right? I mean, Resogun felt like, Galaga
Yeah, a modern
But,
arcade shooter.
right. It had that old school game feel, but it sucked you in with the beauty of what it could do visually. So if it's on discount, yeah, I'll check it out. But like you, I have to be super picky with my games right now. Like I had to pass up Friday the 13th. I wanted to jump into that. I wanted
I
to give
wanted
that a
to too,
try
man.
and get into that because there was quite a few people on my friends list on Xbox that were playing it. I'm like, oh, I want to play that, but I couldn't justify spending the $40. I couldn't do it
For a broken game.
Yeah, and same thing with the Housemarque game. It's a smaller title. I'm going to wait until it's on discount because I have to be extremely selective, especially with the holidays coming up. And I have a massive family that we have to buy a billion presents for because I'm crazy around Christmas and I love giving presents to people. I love giving presents more than I like getting them. So we end up spending a little too much money around Christmas time, but it's for good reasons. We spend money
It's for the kids.
Well, we spend money. We buy stuff for family. We buy stuff and donate it. And so money's a little tight around Christmas time for us. So I'm going to have to be picky with the games I do pick up.
KB, I told you to go watch something. Did you watch it?
Dude, I watched this the day it released. I don't think you understand this game. My cousin, and before we reveal the name, my cousin played the first one on Dreamcast religiously, and I watched him like crazy. Like if Twitch was a thing when I was a kid, I would have watched my cousin on Twitch. Like I watched this game from beginning to end. So when I saw this trailer, I was a little, it looked just like Dreamcast.
So, yeah. So for those of you who haven't picked up on it, we're talking about Shenmue 3. Of course, this is the Kickstarted project, which now has a major publisher. Sony backed Shenmue 3. The first teaser trailer has been revealed, and oh my god, it looks terrible. It's supposed to release in 2018, second half, so there's a little more time. This trailer looks it looks like action figures.
Yeah, no, when I was watching it, I was like, did they crowdfund a Dreamcast version of Shenmue 3? Like it looks straight off the Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah, it looks like PS2 graphics.
Yeah, I don't know. The first one was awesome to watch. I wasn't allowed to play it because my cousin was kind of stingy with the controller, but just little like immersive things that he could do in that world. I was like, this game looks like so much fun. And it was stupid stuff like meeting your quota of moving shipping containers around the shipping yard because you had to get a certain amount of money to go to this area to find out more clues about who killed your dad in this organization. I never watched him play the second one. We weren't super close at that time. I was closer with other cousins, so I wasn't hanging around with him as much. So when I saw this trailer for Shenmue 3, he was the first one I thought of, and I'm like, he's going to pick this up. He's got to finish the story. He's going to figure out a way to play this. And the way it looks, can probably pick it up on Switch.
Probably. I mean, the game, what's funny about it too is it does look like a Dreamcast game, but the lighting looks like a PS4 game. Like the lighting is like really like phenomenal, like next level technology on the lighting, and then you get these character models that look like action figures. Like their faces don't emote. Now the guy said, of course, this is like not final, but if this is what it looks like a year out, it's not going to look much different.
No, it's not going to get much prettier. And, maybe if I was them, I would just spin this and be like, yeah, that's the look we were going for. Like, we want people to feel like they're picking up right where they left off.
That's such a cop-out, but that's such a good way to spin it.
Right. You have to spin it. You can't just sit there and be like, well, this is the best we could do. Here you go. No, you say, this is the game we wanted to make for the fans that crowdfunded it, that backed us on Kickstarter. We wanted to give them the Shenmue experience that they had on Dreamcast. Looks included.
Literally. Oh, man. What a disaster. That game's not going to be good. I'm calling now.
Yeah, I know. It makes me sad. Like I said, I never played it, but I watched my cousin play it like crazy, and he loved it. And he was so annoyed when it ended on a cliffhanger. He was so annoyed, and I never saw how number 2 ended, so I don't know what his reaction was to that, but he was really upset at the end of the first one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's gonna have to pick it up because this is. I wonder if it closes. What if this one ends on a cliffhanger?
That would totally piss everybody off. At that point, everyone's just gonna be like, "No, just no,
no more."
They're gonna start another Kickstarter for Shenmue 4, and that's gonna be in the comment thread. No, I donated money so I could ask for a refund.
Oh man, that game's gonna be a disaster. It's gonna be Last Guardian bad. Well, Last Guardian is good to some people, but no, those controllers are terrible. Bad game. Now, our last piece of news before we get into conversation of the show. I don't know if you watched it. Star Wars Battlefront 2 released the space battle trailer. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
All aboard the Star Wars Battlefront 2 hype train. Boop, boop.
I'm riding first class on that train, man. Oh, oof. I'm soaking in all the amenities. I'm pooping in every toilet on that train. I'm all in. I'm so all in.
It is going to be an interesting year, like I said, because this is one of the games I'm for sure getting. It seems like all the games I'm getting the rest of the year are first-person shooters. Seems like this is the first-person shooter part of the year.
Right. Well,
every year.
This is the part where I have to weigh out, like, okay, one of these shooters has to go.
It's too many.
Yeah, and I'm already all in on Destiny 2. That one's not going anywhere. I'm really stuck in this weird spot where I'm like, okay, Rainbow's staying because we've had so much fun with that, and it's one of the few real tactical shooters out there that are actually functional. So I'm torn because I'm looking at Call of Duty World War II and I'm looking at Battlefront 2. I'm like, one of these has got to go.
It's Call of Duty, obviously.
I know, but I'm like, man, I've been clamoring for a return to World War II, and it might be one I just have to pick up later on down the road and just play through the story and kind of let multiplayer fall to the wayside. But yeah, Battlefront 2 looks amazing.
Front.
Yeah, I corrected myself. I said Battlefield and I said front.
No, you said field twice.
Whatever.
Okay.
Sorry. Whatever. Anyway, no, like I said, I'm all in. Battlefront 1, I was all in on, and then I played it and I was like, okay, I'm done with it. But this one looks like it's got some legs. It has a lot of different game types, has a lot of different modes going down. It's got a single player campaign that I'm really interested in.
They have 3 developers on this one game. EA doesn't like to waste money, so like we're getting a very packed Star Wars Battlefront, and I'm very excited.
And they don't like to give away things for free, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're giving us all the DLC for this game for free.
And they have 3. I don't think people understand the ridiculousness I just said. 3 studios working on this. You know how much resources that is?
They're pouring everything they have into this game.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be off.
We talked about this in a previous episode, but I think they were just kind of taken back by the backlash they got from Battlefront 1 and how people were really like upset that there was no single player campaign, that the season pass was atrociously expensive for the DLC that we got. People were upset, and EA probably had to take a step back and said, we have an extremely valuable property. We cannot blow this. We cannot run the risk of not making money off of a Star Wars game. So they said, when we're going back to the drawing board, we're going all in, and we are making sure this thing brings in billions.
And it will. I really do think it will. Like, oh man, it makes me so happy like that they are actually listening. And then, can you imagine if they didn't and they'd had 2 duds in a year with with
Andromeda
and then this?
Yeah. No, Battlefront would all but be dead. I think if you had back-to-back releases of this game that were basically a middle finger to the consumer, I don't think the consumer would go back. I mean, we're proven to not be smart as a society with our money. But I think if they did the same kind of thing as they did the last time around, people would be like, I'm never trusting you with a Star Wars game again.
Yeah. And I wonder if there's something in the contract too with how they with Disney about how they handle their properties. And I think Disney saw the backlash, not so much EA, but I think Disney I'd be interested to see how this works out. But if this is like true. But I think Disney saw the backlash, not EA, because we know EA traditionally doesn't care. Like you said, they don't give out things for free. And I think Disney said, okay, if you don't want this to completely contract go to trash, you were giving it for free and you're fixing this.
Yeah. If you want to continue to make money off of our IP and our product, you're doing it the way we want you to. Yeah, I could very, because there's not a thing Disney owns that they are not 100% involved in.
Exactly. So I'd be very interested to see if this was EA or if this was Disney being Big Brother.
Yeah, totally could. You gotta take care of your investments. And when you trust a studio with the multi-billion-dollar investment that was your Star Wars purchase, they're going to make sure that it's done with the best of care.
This trailer, though, for these space battles, Kyle, so good. Like, I didn't like the space battles in the first one. I think they're fixing it because Criterion is working on it.
Okay.
And
I was unaware of that. Nice.
Darth Maul as a playable, this is just everything I wanted in this. And I hope that, there's just so much hope. I just can't wait.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We have a new hope in the Battlefront series. Boom, Star Wars bud.
So Kyle, I got a question for you.
Okay, shoot.
This is leading right into our conversation of the week. This question comes from our good friend Paul Potter. Paul Potter asks, opinion on the godless gamers, aka me, playing games with the sound off. Does it really damage the game? Are there cases where this is acceptable? To protect my own image, I say that I do listen to music when starting a game to get the atmosphere, and story-based games do have the audio on.
I just want to clarify. I don't know who Paul Potter is.
He won our Crash Bandicoot giveaway.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Nice to meet you.
He goes to the University of Michigan, so he kind of sucks.
All right. So yeah.
Go Buckeyes.
Paul Potter. Do I think it really damages the game to play the game with sound off? 100%. 100%. Because part of the storytelling is the music. I am sorry if you are one of those people that play, Fallout with your modern rock or rap music. But part of the magic of Fallout is their soundtrack, is the score. And playing a game without that music, without that sound, I feel like it doesn't set the mood or the ambiance. It doesn't pull me in.
Life is a cathedral.
I think the music sets the stage, and I think the music is what helps you get pulled in and makes you feel the suspense of a moment.
I agree to an extent. Music is important, but I'm one of these dumb kids, Kyle, because sometimes I'm a busy guy. I don't get to listen to. I have a lot to keep up on. I'm a fan of a lot of things that have podcasts, like Joe Rogan. Love his podcast. He has 3-hour podcasts. I don't have time for 9 hours a week listening to one podcast without doing anything else. So I got a multicast. Kind of funny. Game Attack, Cow Chop, Achievement Hunter, all these podcasts I listen to. Rooster Teeth, always open. I have 9-10 podcasts that I rotate throughout the week. That's probably over 20 hours in podcasts a week I listen to.
I agree.
Ridiculous amount.
I agree. But does it damage the game?
I don't think it. I think it adds to some games. Like we were saying with Destiny, I'm not going to listen to Destiny on the grindy parts where it's just you're trying to get loot or whatever you get in Destiny. I don't know.
Yeah,
You know?
no, I agree with that.
Sound's
I
not
do agree.
necessary for all of it. And I do
Yeah.
try to start off with sound on the games that I put the podcast on.
Yeah, I understand that. Like Minecraft in build mode, yeah, you probably don't need the sound for that. Or back when Disney Infinity was still a thing in the toy box, when I would build stuff, I did listen to music or listen to different radio programs because I'm old like that, and I have radio apps on my phone. So yeah, I get that and I do that, but for the most part, I cannot play a game without that game's score and soundtrack coming through my headphones or coming through my speakers.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time with it. I really do, because it's like sometimes it's like, do I want to play this game? I can't listen to anything with it, and then I just end up not playing the game at all, and that's a problem with me. I know I'm one of the weird and one of the few, but I do think it's acceptable sometimes. I do think it ruins it sometimes, but I also do think it adds to it sometimes.
Yeah, really what it boils down to is it's your preference, man.
And where is it acceptable? Sorry.
Ain't nobody can tell you how to play a game.
Agreed. And where it is acceptable, I do think it is on the more, if the music's not necessary, or if like it's a grindy, if you're just grinding something out, or trophy hunting, or, you know, if you beat the game 100%, you're going back to get like a trophy.
Yeah, if you're playing a single player game, a story-based game with your god-awful music, yeah, you're a monster if you're playing it your first playthrough with the audio off. There's no instance where that's acceptable. And I just said nobody can tell you how to play a game. I lied. You're an idiot if you do that.
Yeah, you're a monster. Well, that's one thing with Gravity Rush too, is I like play a little bit of it and then I go, I can't, because I want to listen to something and I need to play this all the way through. So I'm going to try to finish that game by the end of the year, by the way. I don't think I will. Oh, and Wolfenstein 2?
There's too much coming.
I just realized that, KB.
I know you hate Assassin's Creed, but Assassin's Creed Origins looks awesome. Mario Odyssey is coming out, and I know you don't have a Switch, but
I'm going to get one. I'm caving to September.
Mario Odyssey. Well, then you have to play some backlog, man. You have to play Zelda. You have to jump into Mario Kart. You have to get on Splatoon.
My first Zelda.
You're playing behind the 8 ball, my friend.
I am aware. So, Paul raises a good question about video game soundtracks. And we talked about it. Best video game soundtracks. First, yeah, so let's get into it. You and me both picked one for homework for us to go back and listen to. We didn't really give it as much as we probably could have.
No, not at all.
But I'll let you go with your pick first. Kyle, best video game soundtrack.
I don't think this is even a question. And the fact that this is something that we even have to discuss is kind of disgusting. Ocarina of Time is hands down the best video game soundtrack of all time. Zelda in general, the compilation of those songs, you can throw whatever argument you want at me. There's not another video game in this world that has a touring symphony that sells out every city it goes to because the music is so amazing. Now, when we were originally talking about this, we were discussing the difference between a soundtrack and a game score. So what we're talking about is game scores. We're not talking about soundtracks. Soundtracks are previously written songs and recorded songs that belong to somebody else that are compiled in a list and put into the game.
Fallout, Tony Hawk.
Right. Which, if we're talking about best overall audio compilation or music compilation, I think Fallout is the one that merges the two the best with game score and soundtrack. But since we're talking purely game score, I don't think there is a game out there that is anything like Ocarina of Time, because the songs that you hear are from specific moments in that game. And if you're a fan of that game, you know exactly what songs they were. As soon as you hear them, you go, oh yeah, I remember that moment. I remember when I got Song of Storms, the do 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 do. So And then Epona's song and Zelda's song and the song for the Kakariko Village and all these different beautifully composed melodies all bring back memories. The Gerudo Desert song, so good. So good. I could listen to that soundtrack all day and have memories just spark every single time. Just playing Zelda Ocarina of Time with my cousin, going back and playing through it in high school when they re-released it. Well, junior high, when they re-released it, the Master Edition on GameCube. And God, to this day, I haven't touched that game in probably 15 years, but those songs are burned into my brain.
Now, I agree with you. It is a very amazing composed piece of music, like just soundtrack in general. It holds up. It's very classical, though. It is very like your typical like classical music vibe. I'm not about that, KB. All right, I agree. It's probably art. It's probably one of the highest forms of art. I can't listen to it. I listened to it. I enjoyed it. It was beautiful, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about fun video game soundtracks, sir, not just art. All right. First of all, I have a couple shout outs. What are you doing? Are you on your phone right now?
No, just keep going. Just keep going.
Oh, you're gonna play a song. A couple shout outs is Last of Us. That soundtrack was phenomenal. And one that we haven't seen before in games.
No, that soundtrack absolutely pulled you in. It made you feel what was happening.
Oh man. And then like, yeah, it just has a way of pulling on your like heartstrings, and like when it was bad, you knew it was bad because the music made you feel like crap. Like it's just dark and gritty and like, oh, it did such a good job. And then Donkey Kong. I really do like Donkey Kong's. Yeah, Donkey Kong soundtrack. What? I really enjoy the.
Oh, okay. Okay,
yeah. Playing the Donkey Kong games, like it's just that's what I'm saying, and that's why my pick is what my pick is, because I like the fun, I like the heartbeat, and I like the catchy, like, you know.
You like
very typical,
the repetitive and the obnoxious.
It's not repetitive and obnoxious. So my thing is, I love Crash to Insanity soundtrack. That's my pick, just because not only with the nostalgia I have to that game, but it is the most unique video game soundtrack there is.
Unique doesn't mean good, bro.
No, it is so good. It is so good, KB.
I couldn't do it. I listened to I listened to like 15, 20 minutes of it, and I wanted to pull a trigger and fire a gun somewhere in the general region of my face.
So good. Go to the first song. Go to the
first.
You're
talking about the main menu song?
Sure. This game, for those of you who don't know, is a acapella group going by the name of Spiral Mouth. And they did the complete soundtrack to the game Crash to Insanity. No, not that one. Next one.
This?
No. All right, never mind.
We're going to be spending 15 minutes trying to find what you're talking about.
But it's completely no instruments, just all mouth of this acapella group. And it is one of the most, like, after playing that game, you will like be like, and you don't understand. I really want you to play Crash to Insanity. I really do. I really do, really bad, because it's one of those things where you're humming it and you're like singing it as you go through your day.
How much are you gonna pay me?
I don't know if you know this, but Chiptooth Gaming doesn't make any money.
So to quote one of my favorite all-time TV doctors, Dr. Cox from Scrubs, acapella music is ear rape.
No, it's not. It's so good, Kyle.
No,
It's
I was talking to a coworker yesterday, and they were playing the Moana. This acapella group did all the Moana songs acapella, and I was like, no, no. There's a reason musical instruments were invented and used. Please use them.
see, no, you're a hater. You're just a hater on good music. It's everyone go check it out. Go play Crash Insanity if you haven't. It really is like worth like whatever it takes for you to have a PS2 and hunt down. It might come to the PS4 on a PS2 in the future.
We'll see. Crash is still selling like crazy.
Still number one in that UK, boy.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what makes a good game score is how it sticks with you and the emotions that it evokes as you listen to it years down the road. I think that's when you know a game had a great score.
Yeah, I think that's why obviously Zelda wins.
Well, okay. Obviously, this is all
subjective.
Yes, it's all preference. But for you, Crash to Insanity's soundtrack brings up those emotions, brings up those memories. I'm not connected to that. So when I hear Crash to Insanity's soundtrack, I go, oh Lord, shoot me. I can't do this. But I think the ones that stick with you are the proof that they were good. And it's completely 100% opinion based. If a soundtrack stuck with you, it did what it was supposed to do. And I think that brings up
another question.
The question we got, from Hail Destroyer
87. Our boy Alex.
Yeah,
boy.
I want to read it. Do you find that it's easier to forget video game soundtracks nowadays? For example, I will never forget Pokemon Blue and Red soundtrack. Totally agree with him. Never going to forget those soundtracks either. But I think when the game is good and you are 100% invested in it, you remember it. Now, that's not the case with everything. BioShock, I couldn't tell you if you started playing the soundtrack from that, what a song was or what game it was from. Same thing with like the Arkham series.
Oh, I could. Somewhere beyond the sea.
See, my brain would go to Fallout with that. I would just be like, oh, this is a Fallout game.
Fallout.
But even though I know it's not. But I do think it is easier to forget game soundtracks now because there's so many great games out there that for me personally, for me to remember the score of a video game and for it to stir something up in me, it had to be a game or a moment in a game that just stuck. Like Red Dead Redemption, when you cross the Rio Grande and you go into Mexico, I don't know if you've played it, but the whole sequence riding into the village when you get to Mexico, there's this beautiful song that they use as you're riding in, and it's like, oh man, I don't want this ride to end because this song is so good. And I think it's moments like that we remember now more than we remember the full soundtrack to a game.
I think you're right. And I think when you remember a whole soundtrack to a game, it's something special. And not necessarily all good games have an amazing soundtrack. I mean, right now, if I ask right now, Horizon Zero Dawn, what was their soundtrack? Can you even hum a song?
No, absolutely not.
But if I ask, like, if you ask me right now, Last of Us, can you hum a song? I can. The opening song every time, the boo, boo, boo. Well, I don't do justice, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Like that the opening song, the opening score, and like when the seasons change, the score that goes with that, like I can absolutely like hum it. Or like Uncharted, that theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Even a lot of the scores too, like in certain moments, like the action moments, like it really stands out.
Yeah, I mean, in some games, the music is just repetitive and it gets stuck in your head and you're unable to forget it. Like Skyrim, the stupid battle song. I've heard it 10,000 times because the game's been released 10,000 times and I've played it every time it's been released. But I don't think that constitutes as a good soundtrack necessarily. I think it was just so repetitive. But yeah, I'm sticking with my stance that it's the moments that the music captures is what sticks with us now more than anything else, because we do have so many good games out there, and every single one of these games, for the most part, does have an orchestra and a composer that gave it their all. And so much of the music in games today is beautiful. It's those moments that we remember that are attached to certain songs.
I agree. It's a beautiful thing, video games. It really is art as a whole piece together.
It is.
And I think a lot of video game soundtracks are better than any movie soundtrack out there.
Lord of the Rings soundtrack, Lord of the Rings.
I'm not saying there's bad movie sound, like
their score.
No, crap.
But I'm saying Star Wars and Lord of the Rings to me are like set apart, where I don't think there will ever be a score ever written for any form of entertainment where I'm like, yeah, you overtook that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can get behind that. By the way.
Oh, dude, how good was Duel of the Fates?
Oh, so good.
Oh, and just like, okay, so I'm going to get a little nerdy, but Lord of the Rings in Fellowship of the Ring, when they're on the top of the snowy mountain and Frodo falls and the ring falls off his neck, Boromir picks it up and he's holding the ring. I never noticed until probably years down the road that people are actually singing as he's holding that ring. And it's just like this really like beautifully composed, like tempting sound that captures that. Or like Dark Knight Rises, or not Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight, the Joker song, what they were able to do with the violins. If you go back and watch that movie, the violins always seem to be escalating. Like the pitch always seems to be getting higher, but it never peaks and it never plateaus. It's always rising. It's like, how do you do that? How does a composer do something that amazing? Because it captures that essence of the Joker, that his hunger for chaos will never peak. It's always going to continue.
It's always escalation,
and it's captured in that music. And it's just like, oh my gosh, go back and watch that. Because for me, that is probably the one piece of music that captures a character more than any piece of music I've ever seen in any form of entertainment, is the violins just constantly shrieking and rising. It sounds so amazing, and it captures that character's.
I'm going to go back and watch that scene after this.
Captures his essence. It's like, oh, that's nuts.
Shout out to music, man. It really is so impactful, and you take it for granted.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's the thing that you notice last in movies.
So good. And games, frankly, too, other than like you're playing a friggin' 50-hour game and you have the same song over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's crazy because music is one of those things that's probably often most overlooked in games, but if it wasn't there, it would be the first thing you miss.
Well, Zelda, the new one, Breath of the Wild, isn't it kind of like that?
Yeah, it's a lot quieter. It's a lot quieter. It still has moments, but yeah, it's not anywhere near the same level as of Ocarina of Time or Zelda games previous.
Well, KB, with that being said, great conversation this week. Let's go play some Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. Let me see where my wife's at. If she's out, I'll jump on with you.
Yes, be asleep.
All right.
KB, thanks for joining me. This has been the Chip Tooth Podcast. If you like what you saw today, go ahead and like down below, subscribe so you can stay up to date on all our content. There's going to be much more coming. Leave a question. I forget to solicit questions on the show. Actually, go tweet them at us at CTGVids. Go ahead and email us at chiptoothgaming@gmail.com. We'd love to hear with you and have a conversation. This has been Kyle Bunyea. I am Mike Doherty. Until next time.
Wait. What? We forgot a question.
Oh, well, we kind of covered it.
I know, but it's just, why is The Last of Us' soundtrack so amazing? Logan Wilkinson, because it is. Goodbye.